Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Trustcast Show. And I'm excited to have with us Esther Kane, the founder of Aging in Place Directory. Thanks. Welcome to the show, Esther.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I am so happy to be here.
Okay, great. So Esther spent 12 years as an occupational therapist, walking through seniors' homes, spotting hazards that cause falls, and then built a 25-year digital marketing company, helping small businesses get found online. And now she's fused these two worlds into the Aging in Place directory and another website as well. But Aging in Place directory is a nationwide platform connecting families with specialists who keep people safe at home. So you went from walking through people's homes as an OT to running an SEO company for 25 years. Is that right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
what moment made you realize these two careers should collide together?
Well, when I turned 60, I was thinking, all right, I'll be retiring soon. I was, thinking about, selling the internet marketing company, which I'd run for so many years. And I thought, well, what can I do? I don't want to just go to lunch and play mahjong and pickleball and whatever. I needed to do something. So I thought, well, I could merge these two into a website. I already knew how to do websites. I already knew all that. And OT skills never seem to go away ever. So I thought, well, I could do a website on elder care and caregiving tips and all of that. So I created seniorsafetyadvice.com, which has done very well. But as a result of that website, after a few years, I was getting a lot of emails from readers asking and families asking, well, where do I find these people? Who do I get to build a ramp? Who do I get to, redo the bathroom? Who do I get to do this? How do I know that that's the right person? And I couldn't believe that there wasn't one directory that combined all of these people together, because you don't need just a contractor. Sometimes you need the designer, the contractor, you need the assessor, which could be an OT or certified aging in place specialist. Sometimes you need the PT. You need that combination, you need that team. So I ended up building Aging in Place directory. And that's how the whole thing came about. So my retirement turned into this full-time career, which is great because I love getting every day I get emails or comments on our YouTube channel or podcast about how helpful the information was. And that's very fulfilling.
So it's almost like an Angie's List for people who are wanting to get their home ready as they're getting older, so that they can stay in their home. Would that be accurate? Is that?
Exactly. That's exactly how I described it also. I couldn't believe there wasn't an Angie's List for all of this. And then, and families too,
Don't
because
tell Angie because they'll probably jump all over this.
that's true.
But
That's,
they'll do it. They'll screw it up.
yeah.
So,
And hey, they should be honored that we're using their name as as an example because it's so popular. But yeah, and the other thing is that all these services are out there. There are so many services out there for seniors, but they don't know that they're there. Everything from organizations. I just spoke with an occupational therapist who's been an OT now for 25 years in Indiana, I think she is. And she just had to go through the process of placing her mother in a memory care unit. And through that process, she found two organizations in her own hometown that could help her that she knew nothing about. And here she'd been an OT for 25 years. And she asked them, she goes, why don't I know about you? And they said, well, marketing and it's difficult and blah, blah, blah. So there's services are out there, but they're not necessarily not exposing themselves as well. And then the other side of the coin is what I found in putting all these providers in the directory is that many of them don't work with each other. In other words, a contractor will go in and just do the contracting work, but doesn't necessarily consult with an OT to do the assessment work to identify exactly where to put the grab bars, exactly how high to make the toilet, whatever. They're not working with each other, or they don't know that the other person is there, is in the area. So the other side of the coin for the directory, of the directory for the providers, is to help them work together and basically create this Rolodex, this team of people that they can refer to, so that when the one person that walks into that individual's home, they have the resources for that person instead of just coming in and doing their thing and walking out.
Hmm.
That's what I think is
So,
so important, because so many families are like, I don't know where to start. Because almost everyone is reactive, not proactive. So they're doing
oh
everything
yeah,
in an
because
emergency.
nobody wants to be old or say that they are old or admit that they're getting old.
I
And
know.
so it's they look at the other people who are old and say, look at those old people.
I know. I'm not one of them. Yeah. I mean, the two main blocks, I think, for this niche is one, it's emotional, as you say, and then two, it's financial. So that's why I think it's also important to have in that Rolodex resources for where money can come from, be it a reverse mortgage, grants, loans, whatever. Because otherwise the burden ends up falling on the family.
So this really sounds like a. I love this idea. It's really
Thank you.
it's really interesting and sounds like you're filling a need. And I'm surprised that there's not a bunch of competition out there because the population as a whole is. I mean, the baby boomers, which make up a significant part of our population, is when everybody was born
Yep.
are continuing to get older. So when you were doing home safety assessments as an OT, what's something dangerous you'd find in almost every house that most families don't ever notice?
Rugs. Those damn rugs. Rugs are, I get it. People like they're aesthetically pleasing. I understand, believe me. But as you get older, you tend, not everyone, of course, but people will tend not to lift their feet as high as they used to, or they're now using a walker. Everything gets trapped on those rugs. And, it's so easy to fall. I can't even begin to tell you how many people I treated for an injury, when I worked in clinics for an injury because of a rug. I mean, it seems like such a silly little thing, but it can really cause a lot of damage. That and clutter. And I don't mean necessarily clutter like hoarding clutter. I mean like oversized furniture, too much furniture in a space. You know, uh, Again, it's emotional because you're asking people to change their environment, to maybe get rid of something that they feel attached to, but there can be ways to alter the layout so that it's safer for the person to get into the sofa, or onto the sofa, or into the dining room, or anything like that. Those are the two main issues. um, and then, of course, bathrooms. But bathrooms are difficult because they often require major reconstruction. Bathtubs need to be changed to zero threshold showers, or at least a very, very low entryway into the shower. Toilets need to be raised. Those require a little more work. But there are ways to make it without busting the budget. But yeah, those are the issues that I mostly saw. Yeah, because I worked in South
So,
Florida, and there's a lot of condos there,
mhm.
and the condos are not necessarily the largest spaces to grow older in.
Families searching for help right now are probably landing on big national brands. Why is that a problem?
Well, because there are so many, especially nowadays, there's so many new products coming out. There's a wonderful product called Hello Every Day that is not a national brand, but that's a wonderful product that you simply plug in, and it monitors people walking by. It monitors movement in the room. It doesn't film you, so it's not intrusive, but it alerts the families that their mother, father, whatever is walking about. So if you know that your mother gets up every morning and has coffee between 8 and 8:30, so she's in the kitchen, and by 9 a.m., if you don't get an alert that she's there, then something is wrong. So that's a non-brand, major brand that is available out there. And those are the kind of companies that I actually get a lot of calls from to work with them on marketing them, to put them not only on the directory, but marketing them on social media. Because there's a lot of wonderful products out there available now. The Nobi lamp. Not many people know about the Nobi lamp. It's this wonderful lamp that goes on the ceiling. It looks just like a regular lamp, but yet it can be used to monitor falls and movement in the room, and does all kinds of amazing things. So, yeah, I don't think you should stick just to high brand items. But yeah, hey, they have the budget for marketing, right?
Yeah. So, what made you decide to do a specialized directory instead of, say, just teaching those professionals better SEO? So, like those companies.
Yeah, actually, as a member of the directory, they do get I do weekly webinars, marketing webinars on how they can market their business. So I use my 25 years of internet marketing and I'm helping them. This is how you do social media. This is how you use ChatGPT. This is how you create images. This is how, each week is a new webinar. Um, because nowadays it seems like so many people coming into the aging in place niche, it's a secondary or tertiary career. So they're coming into it as a new business. So yeah, they need to market or know how to market. And even, I always tell them, even if you yourself are not doing these exact techniques or doing the marketing yourself, you should at least be aware of what's involved in doing that task. So when you pay somebody to do it, you understand the value in what you're paying them, or you understand if they're overcharging you for
Mm-hmm.
doing something very simple. But I
So
think
how
everyone, yeah.
So how would somebody, the second one, how do you help? So, well, let me ask about the aging in
Sure.
place directory for, so if someone comes to the aging in place directory for the first time, what's their experience? I haven't been there yet, but I'm going to go there and check it out because I really think this is a great idea.
Well, I hope it's a good experience, but I'm obviously it's like a year old now, so I'm always asking people for feedback. How can I make it better? 'Cause isn't that the beauty of websites? You can change them as you go along, and I mean, I love that aspect of it. But what I wanted people to be able to do is when they get to the directory, they can look for providers by location, or they can look for providers by service. If they're looking for a contractor, they can just go to the services page. But by most aging in place obviously is, location based. You want
Mm-hmm.
somebody in your area. So they mostly go to the location area. And I don't have every state filled, but that's what I'm working on. Although I don't know how much I'll get from Wyoming. I don't know how many people are in Wyoming.
It's the least populated state in the United States.
Okay,
So,
so I hope I get somebody from Wyoming. But my idea was to try to have 5 or 10 providers in each state so that they could cover the entire state. Because oftentimes you'll find somebody in one part of the state and they're 2 hours away from somebody who's looking for someone, especially rural areas. The rural areas are the most difficult to fulfill a service to. But that's what I'm looking for. The other side also is I get a lot of people coming to the directory for the articles. Because I do a lot of content writing for seniorsafetyadvice.com, I also do content writing for Aging in Place directory, although the information there is more specific to that particular audience. So they come via the information on the articles and then find the rest of the directory, which is nice. But now that it's been a year, I see traffic now coming to the individual pages of the businesses that are posted on there, which is really what we want, right? We want to market those businesses.
so tell me how do you screen vendors to go on the site? How does that work?
Well, I usually speak with them. I usually have a conversation with them via Zoom, online, phone, whatever. I do a background check. on
Mm-hmm.
all of them, check to see what they've been doing, how they've been doing it, what kind of reviews they're getting, and if they fit the services of the directory, which a lot of them, most everyone does. I get a lot of, I do a lot of marketing on, or soliciting, I guess, I'm not sure, on LinkedIn. And
Mm-hmm.
so they already have a set established, most of them, uh, review and conversations and information from other people on LinkedIn. So that's a great way to see what kind of service they are. But of course, we're not responsible, can't possibly be responsible for the service of each person. That's why it's so important for everyone, no matter who they get via the directory or anywhere else, even word of mouth. It's so important for every homeowner and family to, do their little background check on that person, because we all know there are horror contractor stories, right? And there's there's good and bad in everything.
So have you had an occasion to reject someone who came to you?
Not yet, because I don't have that many providers, looking to get, they come to get into the directory. We have a free option, we have a paid option. So quite a few are coming in for the free option, as they should, because you want to test it out before you go in for a paid. But the interesting thing is that, especially for the assessors, the issue is that the families need them, the assessors are available, but because insurance and Medicare doesn't pay for those kinds of services or modifications in the home, many families are very hesitant or don't have the funding to pay for that. Not
So
that
tell
it's
me
that
what is
much.
an assessor?
An assessor is someone who comes in and assesses the home, like a certified aging in place specialist or an occupational therapist, or there's the certifications from, some realtors have some certification, and then I can't think of it. It just Age Safe America. They certify assessors there, and they're the ones who come in and take measurements and take a look throughout the home for safety issues, according to the person that's there. It's always different depending on how the person moves, on their abilities, inabilities. So it's very different per person. You could have two people with the same type of stroke, but because of the environment and because of how they are physically moving and able to do, it could be two completely different assessments. But that's the first step. Well, decluttering is the first step. Then after that is the assess, and then the assessor would recommend the decluttering process if it's needed. But that's the very first step. That's how you know what to do. A contractor can't just come in and just slap on some grab bars, or they can't, yeah, unless they have that training, which,
Mm-hmm.
interesting enough, I see a lot of contractors now getting that training, through, it's the CAPS training through the National Association of Home Builders. So I see a lot of them doing that because, as you said, the boomers, 10,000 plus people a day, are turning 65 for years to come.
So that's so now if you have an assessor come in who's not a contractor, then you end up having what would be a typical fee for an assessor to go through a home. I'm sure it depends on how big the home is, but
Yeah,
what could kind of a range have you
I think
seen?
it's somewhere, and it also depends on where you live, but I think it's somewhere between 125 and 350, around that range. So it's not, because it's hours of work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not an extraordinary amount, but for some families it is. And it's also because it is an emotional issue. For some families, they don't want people coming in telling them to change the environment that they've lived in for 30, 40, 50 years. But at the same time, it's the thing that will keep you safe, that will keep you in your home longer and more independent.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
So
it's
you
interesting.
offer Go ahead. You were going to finish that.
No, I'm just saying, just that the whole mindset is interesting. It's interesting.
So you offer weekly marketing webinars, monthly masterminds, and a private community to your members. Why give away all that on top of a listing?
Why not? I mean, my goal with the directory is to provide the information for the families and the seniors, right? I mean, as an OT, I was on the other side where I saw the end result of not doing these things. And as I said before, so many of them were just silly, ridiculous little accidents that did not need to have occurred. And it changed the person's life entirely. You know, if they were even able to go back home, it changed their life. And for what? So my goal is to help them and hopefully help them see that, and the families. And now with so many people growing older, the children are seniors. So it's seniors caring for seniors. So yeah, you've got both of that. So the other my other goal is to bring these providers together and create some kind of a group or team, or I don't even know what you want to call it, through the directory to help them not only work for those families and seniors, but to work together. So I don't see any reason why. All I'm not sharing information that is a secret. These days, especially online, you can find anything, but it's scattered. It's all over the place. So I am not sharing information that is exclusive, unless I create something, and then yeah, that might be exclusive, which is not too often. But I want to encourage these providers to be able to market their own business and do what is needed for their communities, because insurance isn't doing it, Medicare isn't doing it. So we need to band together. Otherwise, I can't even imagine the end result of what it would be like to do nothing.
So how do you? So like I know Angie's List, they charge when somebody comes in and says, "I need to do this," and you fill out a form online, and then they go out and they say, "Okay, here's the people that we recommend," and then they charge those people. How do you generate revenue off of your site? Is it a similar sort of?
Yeah, I have a paid membership, which is that's the members in that paid membership get the webinars, and so they it's $15 a month for them, or $120 for the year. So it's not expensive. I think it's very affordable for everything that they get. Um, and I wanted to make it that way so that they could, because it is a brand new site, the return on investment has to match. So I wanted to make it so that it was not only affordable, because remember, as I said, a lot of these aging in place professionals in this niche are new. So because they're starting their businesses, they don't necessarily have those, years of background. So they need to start somewhere. And I know as an internet marketer, I work with small businesses. So I know it's so important not to put too much money out before you start getting money in. So I made it that way. And for me, it's perfectly fine, because I also get revenue from senior safety advice through affiliates and ads and all of that. And eventually I might do that with Aging in Place Directory. I'm not sure yet. It's still evolving.
Okay. Okay. So your first year of membership is free. That's what I'm reading in my notes here. Is that right? So you
Well,
can just sign up.
it was in 2025. I had the entire year for free. So if you joined then, no matter when you joined, you got 365 days free.
Okay.
So no matter that. But this year is when I'm starting. I started charging. I started paying because I needed to build a directory. So
Yeah.
that's why I
So I
offered
mean,
the
so
chicken and the egg.
you're not completely, yeah. So in other words, you wanted to build up the
Providers.
directory so that it was usable. And
Yes.
then once you get to the point where you have enough people on there, then you need to start charging because there's expenses with running.
There are. There's expenses. Yeah, we have
It's
117 members now on the directory.
it seems like a really modest amount that you're charging.
It is a
So
modest amount. I intentionally did that to attract them to get onto the directory. That was an intention. But as I said, we'll see how things go. As I said, it's brand new, fairly brand new. So, yeah.
So you're teaching aging in place professionals how to use AI tools and digital strategy. What's a real example of someone you've shown something to that changed their business?
Oh, there's a company in Israel. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Assist X. I think it's Assist X. And what she does is she creates these toys. They're not toys, but she creates these products for seniors with dementia. A lot of seniors with dementia in the later stages, especially mid to late stages, they need fidgeting. They need things. They need things to do. And these are products fit like a fidgeting board to do. And she creates these beautiful, beautiful products. So I was just speaking with her yesterday and, as a follow up, well, in another group. And I had told her that part of getting into that top AI section now that Google promotes now up on top is to have an answer question type of thing. So if you can get the question, put it on your website or blog, whatever, and then have a concise, exact answer to that question. Those are what AI seems to be picking up. Especially AI seems to use a lot of questions and answers from Reddit. So why not look at the questions that people are asking on Reddit and then give your answer to that? Maybe make it more concise, maybe make it more specific to an audience, whatever from your expertise, put that in there. And so she mentioned that she was doing quite well with that. So that made me feel good.
Oh yeah, oh, that's terrific. Okay, so hey, I got some rapid fires. I always like to do rapid fire questions. So,
Okay.
single most dangerous room in a senior's home.
Bathroom.
One home modification under $50 everyone should do right now, every senior.
$50. Um, Add a raised toilet seat. I think those
Um,
are $50, not sure.
yeah, that's probably right. Best piece of tech for an aging parent living alone.
Alexa.
Okay, that's good. Something you've changed in your own home because of what you know.
Oh, I added steps on the bottom of my kitchen where the foot, the I don't know what you call that, underneath the cabinets where
Uh
it's
huh.
normally just yeah. Those are now I can click on it and it comes out as a step so that I can get to raised cabinets.
Oh, that's clever. Um, First website you ever built, was it good or terrible?
Oh, it was horrific. It was horrific. It was terrible. Yeah.
So you and Robin Schultz have been friends since seventh grade. What's the secret to a 50-year friendship that becomes a business partnership?
Oh, I don't know. We tolerate each other. We know each other's good and bad, and we say, yeah, that's good enough. That's okay.
So your parents lived to 89 and 98, and you said your caregiving journey started the day your mom was diagnosed with terminal brain tumor, and you had no idea what to do.
That was Robin. Yeah.
Oh,
Robin's
that was
parents.
Robin. Okay, that was
Yeah, that
Robin.
was
Okay.
Robin. Yeah, her parents are amazing. They were my Ozzy and Harriet. I loved them. Yeah, she really began her interest in this niche at that time, taking care of her mother with the brain tumor and then her father who had dementia. Yeah.
So senior safety advice landed number 5 on FeedSpot's list of 80 best caregiver blogs. What
Yeah.
content are families searching for that nobody else is providing?
Well, I have a lot of content in there about tech, about Alexa and other tech devices. I don't see other caregiving platforms, websites, what blog, talking that much about tech. And I think I mean, it's here, it's not going away. So let's learn to use it and implement it, especially for the families. Seniors may have a harder time with it, but there are ways to make it easier for them. So that's what I'm trying to teach is very simple ways. So yeah, I would say tech.
So over 80% of seniors say they want to age at home, but less than 10% of homes are actually set up for it. And so how do we close that gap?
Yeah, with aging in place assessor, with people coming in and making and doing this process. But again, it's a proactive activity and human nature is reactive. So I'm really hoping to get that across that it's so important, when you're in your 50s to begin thinking about how to assess the home, and it's just like getting a house inspected. You get a house inspected, and then you have the list of things that you know that need to get done in the house, and you maintain it. It's the exact same thing, only it's inside, and it's for your independence. If we can de-stress from aging and stress independence, I think that would help to shift the thinking. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that that might do it?
So I don't know.
I don't either. We're
It is the
trying.
emotional side of thing that makes it most difficult, I think, to get people to come to grips with that they are actually getting older, and there's an emotional component there that's just kind of gets in the way, I think.
Yeah.
So falls cost $50 billion a year in medical expenses, and a grab bar costs $30. So why aren't families making these changes before the fall happens?
Well, because to a lot of people, a grab bar looks like a hospital setting. A grab bar is a picture. It's right there in their face that says, "Yep, you're getting old. You need me." It's making a change in the environment that they're not willing to do. And yeah, it's $30 for the grab bar, but then you have to pay for the installation as well. So it's a little more, but it's worth it's worth falling, breaking a hip, God forbid, cracking your head, and then never knowing how to pick up a spoon again. So yeah, it's worth it. Absolutely. But then there's also the financial aspect, especially nowadays with everything costing more and more and more. Finances are a big issue. I just had a conversation with someone yesterday about reverse mortgages, and she said the one issue people are talking to her about is that they're afraid of running out of money before they pass away. So money is a huge issue. So that's why having the resources, having the people in your Rolodex to say this person can help you to pay for that, this loan, this grant, whatever, I think has to be a part of the picture.
So where can people give me the URLs for the two sites?
Sure. One is seniorsafetyadvice.com, and then the other is aginginplacedirectory.com. And you can always reach me at Esther at either one of those, Esther at seniorsafetyadvice.com or Esther at aginginplacedirectory.com. And I answer every single email, and I just answered 5, YouTube comments this morning, and it's so amazing what people are going through, and the struggles that they're having. And I'm so happy, really proud to be part of that, of helping them. As you said, part of filling in that gap. That was an
Yep.
amazing statistic, wasn't it? 10%
Yeah.
of homes are not
Yeah.
senior friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Esther.